Okay, welcome back. So it's time to be proactive now. We discussed in the last chapter about what we can do to mitigate if there are L2 retransmissions happening in the network, what steps can be taken, and what kind of issues do we face in the network day in, day out, which can cause the L2 retransmissions to go very high and thus bringing down the performance of the Wi-Fi network completely, right? Now, what if we can do some things in advance so that we don't run into those problems? So we will discuss about some capacity and coverage considerations that can be made proactively to make sure that the network performs well and the layer 2 retransmissions go extremely low, or they are not even there anymore, right? So I haven't seen a network where there are no retransmissions happening, but we'll try to reduce them as much as possible. So what we can do is we can basically give for some coverage and capacity considerations. Okay, capacity considerations can be taken in mind so that the performance of WLAN only goes up and doesn't go down, right? This will help solve some roaming and interference issues. Roaming and interference issues can be taken care of, and of course with the proper design and with the proper WLAN survey. Site survey should definitely be performed. And mind you, site survey is a very tricky thing, and this is probably the first thing that you need to do before you even think about deploying a network. And it is not a one-day task. You need to do a lot of things in site surveys to make sure that it is done properly and everything is taken into consideration before you go ahead and deploy a network. So have a call with the customer before you even think about placing an access point on the floor plan. Talk to the customer, talk about different needs and different applications they're going to use, what kind of clients they're going to use, what kind of requirements there are on the ground from the bandwidth, which areas to cover, which areas not to cover. I mean, there are like many things that you can check in site survey, and then do that proactively so that when the network is deployed, the problems that we face are reduced as much as possible, right? So that's it. I mean, this is what we're going to cover in this particular chapter, all these things and the proactive approach. We'll talk about what we can do from the configuration side, from the RF side, and make sure that there are as less retransmissions happening in the network as possible.